You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon here on 1270 AM WCGC, Belmont and Charlotte. You're also listening, or you could be listening, on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch us there, actually, as well. So if you haven't liked, followed, friended us, please do so on all of those channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, especially YouTube. I want to thank our YouTube subscribers. We are up to 182 subscribers, and that is wonderful. I mean, it's just wonderful. But if everybody subscribes, we're able to present video content like this to you. We're able to do a bunch of different things on video channels. But I want to remind you that right now is the time to donate and thank our donors as well. Our most recent was Judy from Charlotte. She gave us a $50 donation. And she is also able to get a couple of books, signed books by Dr. Ray, who we just had on. So know that is still open for another 20 minutes. Excuse me. You donate during this hour, $25. You'll get a signed book from Dr. Ray Garendi, and then he has another book, two new books. So if you donate $50, you'll be able to get both of them. I encourage you to head over to drray.com to check out the titles of those books and whatnot as well. But we really do encourage you to give us a call, 1-800-857-2909, 1-800-857-2909, or online at carolinacatholicmedia.org. Joining me in studio right now as we kind of wrap up this 11 o'clock hour and get ready for Mass at noon with Father Matthew Codd from St. Thomas Aquinas Parish, is Jason Murphy. So, Jason, this is one could never imagine that we were going to be on this historic day on the air live for 12 hours. And so I would love to chat with you a little bit about the history of what's going on right now. Just moments ago or hours ago, Roe versus Wade has been overturned.
Yeah. Hey, Bill. It's great to be with you again. Truly amazing. I mean, such a great first. Before we get too far, I would definitely want to reach out. Thank you, Dr. Ray Garundi. I mean, for taking your time and coming and join us on the phone here for our pledge-a-thon, our share-a-thon, and Father Colin Blatchford, who was with us earlier this morning. Keith Nestor was here yesterday. We've just had such a great lineup through this whole week, starting Wednesday and running till 6 p.m. tonight. It's been great. So if you're out there and you're able and willing to make a donation, we really appreciate it. And even take Dr. Ray up on that offer. That's a great opportunity. He's got some great books. And but yeah, Bill, I mean, what an amazing day. I didn't even think I'd be in Charlotte, honestly. I wasn't even supposed to be in Charlotte for the week. I was out of town. And I knew the pledge drive was coming, and I was going to just zoom in, and maybe pop in and be there for a couple of half hours or hour spots. And I didn't even plan on being in Charlotte. And then all of a sudden, I reached out to a couple of our previous guests from the men's conference and previous guests from the Obligation Show, which I host here on the Carolina Catholic Media Network. And overwhelmingly, everyone jumped in and said, yeah. So I went from an empty week to a full week, here with the station. And, man, it's amazing. The Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon, wrapping up on the Feast of the Sacred Heart, and now historically the overturn of Roe versus Wade. I mean, Catholics everywhere, Christians everywhere, and I go even further to human beings everywhere, because not just Christians, there are non-Catholics and there are non-Christians, all sorts of other denominations or atheistic beliefs that still can look at what the proof we have, the science we have, the knowledge we have, that the life that we've been killing in the womb for so long is a life. And man, what a day to celebrate. What an amazing day.
Yeah. So, I think that when we look at this, there are so many different ways that we can unpack it, right? There's so many different ways we can unpack it. Obviously, we haven't had time, and I don't think a lot of people have had time to read the actual decision. We've gotten the news that the decision has been announced. We've got the bare bones that it's overturned. I'm sure that it's not just a 3-sentence decision. I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into it.
That's right.
And so I think it's our duty to make sure that as Catholics we read that and
Right.
we understand what that full statement is, what that fully looks like. But we do know the bare bones of it. We do know that it's overturned, and that the decision has been returned to the states, right? Like so.
Yes.
So
it's not just gone. Abortion's not gone.
No,
so,
abortion is not gone.
Yeah, it's not gone. It's on its way out. It's the first big step, right? I mean, already more than 24 states are going to go ahead and move forward with outlawing it. Already that's happening. And I just saw a news clip here. I've just been kind of scrolling through. Missouri is the first state. So Missouri has outlawed it. And, we're going to see a chipping away, and it's going to be more and more difficult for this to be readily available, praise God, that innocent lives will not be taken any longer. I mean, if we go to, why Catholics believe and what we believe and why you can't be pro-abortion and be Catholic, we can look at the Catechism of the Catholic Church, Article 2270. It states, human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of conception. From the first moment of his existence, a human being must be recognized as having the rights of a person, among which is the inviolable right of every innocent being to life. And we know that begins at conception and goes through death. So what a vital and wonderful thing to happen. And I've said it repeatedly while we've been doing this fundraiser, that in our world where we've been Catholicizing, that's been my catchphrase, every time I'm talking about this, but we're Catholicizing our media and the internet and all these things that you look at, and you could just kind of push them to the side and say, well, no, they're evil and they bring evil things and they're corrupted, or we can take them and use them to evangelize and use them to spread the gospel and our faith, and we've got to do that. So it's just been a wonderful thing to be a part here and be a part of this pledge drive.
Yeah.
And what a remarkable day.
Yeah, I mean, one could have never guessed we were planning this. Gosh, we've been planning this for at least 3 months, and we could have never guessed. The other thing is Feast of the Sacred Heart, right? And that's close to my heart. That's a feast day that I enjoy celebrating, just because of my ministry. But beyond that. It's an incredible day to realize that so many people have been praying for reparation for the sins of abortion to the Sacred Heart on this day.
That's right.
I mean, like, how many litanies have we prayed for the reparation to the Sacred Heart of Jesus for the scourge of abortion in our country? I think about the number of times I've done that on this day. I think about the number of times that I've done this all over, and so. Wow, just plain old wow. And so David Papandrea is joining us as well on the phone right now. So David, are you with us? Are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I was trying to get in on the Zoom, but
hey, David, glad you made it.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us, David. You have any thoughts particularly on this whole amazing announcement?
it's been an amazing morning, and I just feel God's hand in just everything that's transpired today, because we've had more lineup changes, and it all has played into this announcement and decision. Praise God. And it's just funny little things that go behind the scenes. But we were trying to get the ladies on this morning. Originally, Janet Morano was supposed to be on at 11, and she said, David, I think we're going to have the news by 11. So, and then she was going to be tied up on the network. So she suggested that we move the time up. So we ended up front loading her. And gosh, the grandparents, when they came on from Rome, they hadn't heard the news yet. So I got to tell them for the first time, and there they were in the basement of the Vatican. So that was a fabulous moment. And I'm just looking at the list. We had the ladies talking about mycatholicdoctor.com and pro-life fertility care this morning, and just a sequence of everything was just falling into place. And, and then the announcement comes in. So it just was, it was just awesome. And then to be able to share it, because a lot of people, we were one of the first ones really to promote it, because I had Fox on, but we had, as I'm looking around, it's like we were the first ones. I just grabbed a screenshot and put it out there on social media, and we were like one of the first ones to have it. And then to be able to have Dr. Ray with you, Jason, to talk about it live. The network was still in programming with the pop checks. So there we were with live coverage, live interpretation. So it's just flowed beautifully, thank God. And it's just, this is an example. This is one of those moments where you say, this is why we're doing what we're doing with Catholic radio and Catholic media.
Yeah, it's vital. I just saw another clip. I've just been, there's so much coming out now. I mean, it's just we're going to be inundated with information coming out. But Catholic Vote, they just made a post here, and it says, not only was Roe overturned on the day we celebrate the Sacred Heart, but every other year it will fall on the nativity of John the Baptist, who recognized the humanity of Christ in the womb. So, so many things, so many blessings, just falling into place here. And, we're so thankful. And, there'll be more information. I'm sure we'll all be learning a lot more as the hours and the days progress. And again, this is not a full outlawing of abortion. This is simply a return to the states. The states will have that decision, and be able to regulate it. But already, more than 24 states are getting ready to ban it. So this is just amazing. But for those out there who maybe are just listening for the first time, maybe just kind of tuning in, or don't really know the full story. David, you've been with Carolina Catholic Media obviously from the beginning. How did that take place? Because I don't guess there had ever been a Catholic radio station in the Charlotte area prior to that. How did that all begin?
Well, it's the way things came down. I go back to that men's conference at St. Matthew back in 2015.
Okay.
And when the call came that the opportunity was there with EWTN to be the area coordinator for the Media Missionary program, it was just how ironic that there was nobody of all the dioceses that Spencer Swope was in charge of, from Texas to Virginia and Florida. The only place that didn't have a Media Missionary coordinator was in Charlotte, and technically Raleigh as well. So I knew at that point, after nearly 40 years in secular media, I said, okay, Lord, you're trying to tell me something here. So I listened as best I could and started doing, it was, a couple of years really of due diligence to see where where people were at and what their, how they were consuming Catholic media, if they were at all, what their exposure was, awareness to EWTN. Did they know the difference between EWTN TV and EWTN radio? And this is where, doing the deep dive, I found out that the borders for Catholic radio were basically Charleston and Spartanburg had little stations. Wilmington had a low-powered station, but there was nothing in North Carolina, all the way over to Knoxville, Tennessee, and well up into Virginia. So I think the DC area is the closest the Catholic radio is. So this area really has been one of the last areas to embrace Catholic radio. So that kind of set the tone. But when you think about Mother Angelica, and you think about what she did, as a nun, not having any money, getting the call to go into the heart of the Bible Belt, and everything that she was dealing with back in 1980. I looked at that, and it's like that's when I was starting my career, and I always it's like I look to her for strength and guidance, because it's like if she could do it. I knew that there was an example there for us, and that's really
Yeah.
what's driven it.
Well, just while you're speaking, thinking about that as Charlotte, one of the last, I just think of our Lord saying, the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And with everything that Charlotte has going on with our new St. Joseph Seminary and how it's flourishing, and such a return to orthodoxy and reverency, and just the Catholic faith is just alive and well and just booming. Even though we're kind of on the rear end there of establishing a seminary, and on the rear end of having Catholic radio, we are alive and thriving, just booming. So it's wonderful to see it all play out. Such a wonderful place Charlotte is for Catholicism. It's just alive and growing quickly. Lots of young families engaging, and churches thriving. So what a wonderful asset we have in the Charlotte area to have this radio, and not just on the radio, not just AM 1270, but online, on demand, on the YouTube station, Facebook. We got the app. So we appreciate everyone listening in. We're getting ready to have Father Matthew Codd from St. Thomas Aquinas come in, and he's going to be offering Mass for us. And again, if you're out there and you are able to make a donation, please give us a call, 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909, or go online to carolinacatholicmedia.org. All donations are tax deductible, and we really appreciate everyone supporting us and helping to continue keeping Catholic radio media alive and well and thriving here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, David, thank you again for. I mean, it's always amazing to hear your witness and the story behind all of this. And as you were talking about Mother Angelica and the inspiration she was to you, I just couldn't think but think how pleased she is that Catholic radio is broadcasting on 1270 AM right now, and that we're going to have Mass in about 7 minutes on the radio. That the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, the daily Mass on the Sacred Heart, Feast of the Sacred Heart, is going to be broadcast all over the Carolinas. I mean, she must be so pleased with you. So,
well, I had made a promise to Mother that when everything was secured, that I would come down and spend time with her in Birmingham and in Hansville. So I keep delaying the trip because I want to make sure that we're solvent, and that we're going to be able. The thing you forget about is that despite living through the pandemic and having the consequences of that with fundraising, that we are now 3.5 years into this. So only by the grace of God are we 3.5 years old. And we're going to put it out there. People in the Carolina Catholic community are going to know exactly where things are. And the next 6 months is the countdown to 2023 to keep this ministry alive. And we're going to be really touting that and being very specific and looking for as much involvement as possible from the parish level to the ministries to businesses. No amount. Don't be shy about, if you're a business and you want to donate or tithe $100 a month, that's a beautiful thing. We need volume. There's 5 million people in the Charlotte diocese, and if 8% of them are Catholic or have Catholic roots, we're talking about 400,000 people. Is that correct? My math right? 5 million?
That's right.
pretty close.
Times 8, I think that's 400,000
Yep.
Catholics that are in. So, we have various levels of Catholics as far as their level of being active, but, it doesn't take a lot. I also did, and I know that Father's coming in, and we want to give a shout out to St. Thomas Aquinas and to Father Matthew Codd, because they have believed in us from the beginning, and Father Codd has tithed as a parish with us. And we are eternally grateful for that, and that leadership, that gesture on his part. We would love to see and put out a challenge to all 94 parishes in the oratory parishes of South Carolina. We did a quick little math study. I pulled in a friend from the community to run the numbers, and if every parish, and this is if you just look at just averages. If every parish tithed $150 a month, we would more than be able to pay our bills for the month. So if you consider, and we're using as a benchmark, 1% of monthly offertory, 1% of monthly offertory would allow us to pay our bills every month. And then we can grow it, and we can do more things in the on a parish level or ministry level, more recordings. Video is more expensive. So we can grow with what's happening in the diocese, but first thing is that we have to be solvent and take care of our bills that we have, which, as I mentioned earlier, are about $15,000 a month.
Yeah, and David, that is so awesome that you've made that pitch. And I also want to just quickly, as we get transitioned to Mass, remind people that even as little as $5 or $10 a month from you can make a massive difference, right? If you take $5 times the 400,000 people who are in this diocese that are Catholic, as we're kind of running the numbers here, it would be, quite frankly, a game changer. To use some,
that's right.
It would just be a game changer. So, Jason, thank you for all you do.
Thank you,
David.
Bill. Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you for everything. We're gonna, yep, absolutely. We're gonna transition over to Mass and get Father Matthew set up. He is here. He's live in studio. So make sure you do tune into the Facebook and the YouTube so that you can celebrate Mass along with us on video. And of course, if you're listening on the air, it'll be available on audio as well. So, folks. We're going to just send it back to the network for a few minutes here and be ready with Mass right after this.
You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org. We now rejoin network programming already in progress.